All right, guys, welcome to a exclusive interview with the promoter of Lucha Maniacs, Ishaan. Ishaan, welcome to Wrestlevlogs. It's great to have you here.
Hey, how are you, Julio? Thanks for having me here. We're excited and let's get this going.
No problem, and it's great to have you here. And I've been looking at Lucha Maniacs for quite a while, and I would like to learn more about it. So let's start off by introducing yourself. Tell the fans of Wrestlevlogs a little bit more about yourself.
For sure, for sure. Well, my name is Ishaan Idnani-Ramos. I was born in Laredo, Texas. I've been a fan of wrestling since wow, it goes back. But nothing caught my eye quite like Lucha Libre did. Seeing all the colors, seeing the capes, seeing the music, I was hooked. And from there, my fascination with Lucha Libre began.
Okay, so what made you fall in love with pro wrestling, but especially with lucha libre, since you're mentioning that you feel more attracted to the lucha style, to the lucha culture?
For sure, for sure. Um, I've always liked lucha libre. I've always liked the high flying style. I love the high risk. I love all the acrobatics. So lucha libre for me has always been it. Especially me being a shorter guy, looking up to guys like Rey Mysterio, being inspired by guys like that. To me, those guys are idols. Those guys are heroes. And to be able to do something, maybe not at their level, but to be able to create somewhat of a similar atmosphere is definitely something what I tried going for.
And yeah, I mean, I gotta agree. Lucha Libre has a lot of characteristics from. There's some people that are like technicals, the rudos, and as well. There's high flying. There's technical wrestling, mat based wrestling, all that good stuff, and it's a beautiful thing from Lucha Libre.
Definitely.
All right, so if I'm not mistaken, you used to wrestle before, am I right?
Correct. Props on that
Okay.
one. That's something not a lot of people know. But yeah, I
Yeah.
used to wrestle before.
So on that, can you tell us a little bit more and how starting off with training, how did it go, and who were your trainers at the time?
For sure, definitely. When I started out wrestling, well, I wrestled under a mask, so I won't give you my name, but yeah, I started out wrestling here in Laredo. But before I started wrestling, I would actually do backyard wrestling with a bunch of friends of mine, and it was because of those backyard wrestling shows that we got noticed by not one but two companies here in Laredo. One of them called Laredo Wrestling Alliance, and the other one currently called Renegades of Lucha Libre. I was fortunate enough to be taken under the wing by both of those two companies. LWA a bit more than the other one. Basically, they had me doing everything, man. I was not only was I training, but I was setting up the ring, tearing down the ring. I was being a referee. I was helping hold their luggages. I was cleaning the venue. I was up and down, So as far as paying dues, I definitely had to pay my dues. But as far as who was my actual trainer, I never actually had that one guy who I could say trained me. I have been fortunate to be able to train with a lot of different people, though. Two of them that I train a bit more with would probably be Laredo Kid and Sangre Chicana Jr.
And that sounds pretty interesting. On going back to backyard wrestling, uh, of course we were all small, and what we always do was we've always wanted to do the backyard wrestling. We always wanted to be like the wrestlers we would see on TV. Uh, I remember when I was younger, was I would be with my homeboys. We would do like uh, regular like, trampoline matches. Shit, we even did like a ladder match once. And one time, one of my friends was trying to climb up, and he scarred all his arms from like a metal roof.
Oh man,
It's yeah, but yeah, I mean it's something interesting to start off going from backyard wrestling to then evolving and then just getting training from as you said from help from Laredo Kid.
yeah, man, it was definitely a whole different kind of experience breaking into the business and whatnot. I remember when I was backyard wrestling, I used to look up to Jeff Hardy, Sabu, and especially since my subdivision where I lived at that point, it was fairly new. So I remember walking quite a bit to go and find plywood and asking the construction workers if I could have the piece of plywood. walking with the plywood on top of my head all the way back home, just so I can make sure I get thrown through the plywood. But yeah, man, those were the days. I definitely had a lot of fun.
Yeah, and that's dedication, man, and that's something you rarely see from people. Just trying the dedication and the sacrifices they give to each other and stuff like that.
Yeah, totally. Especially nowadays, it's a lot easier than it was back then. I mean, I know there's vets who had it even harder than I did, but I can tell you, like, from a lot of the newer guys that are out now, it's like, shit, you don't know how to tie the rope. Like, come on.
All right, so now let's talk about Texas wrestling. So, what are your thoughts on the Texas wrestling now, and that it has been growing in the past years or so? What are your thoughts on it at the moment?
I think Texas wrestling is something really special. I think we as a whole in the state of Texas have so much talent. And I really believe that thanks to things like social media, thanks to guys like Martin from Wrestling with Unicorns, and so on and so forth, we've really been able to put ourselves on the map. But I really do think social media is a really, really big part of it. You have a lot of talent now, lots of talent, not only from here in Laredo, but I mean from Dallas, from Houston, from San Antonio, from El Paso, Fort Worth. Um, Fortunate enough, I mean, a lot of people are starting to turn around and look at Texas when before, not that we were overlooked, but we weren't the first place you'd go to, And now, if you want good wrestling, you want good lucha libre, Texas is definitely one of the places that people turn around and look for.
Yeah, for sure. As you mentioned, social media it is a powerful tool. It helps out a lot. That's why in Wrestlevlogs we do the interviews, we always do the shares. It helps out a lot of the people that want their name out there and just want to tell their stories and all that good stuff, man. And it's a beautiful thing from some social media.
Definitely, definitely. Lucha Maniacs actually started with social media, we would do shows without a crowd. So that's how we got going because of social media.
Okay, so now that you mentioned Lucha Maniac, so as mentioned earlier, in the introduction, you're the owner and promoter of Lucha Maniac. So, what inspired you to start Lucha Maniacs?
To be honest with you, here in Laredo, the lucha libre scene hasn't been or wasn't all that great as it used to be before. Back in the days, you'd see guys like Laredo Kid, LA Park, Super Parca, Rayo de Jalisco. The names go on and on. And when I was here in the business, when I was wrestling and stuff, it wasn't like that anymore. Nowadays a lot of promoters just want to do anything they can to save a few bucks, and they care less about putting on a quality show, and they care more about making money. So when I started Lucha Maniacs, my big inspiration was to change everything, to change the game. I wanted to take the best of the best local wise, and get us to work as a team, because a lot of times we choose not to work as a team and we choose to work for ourselves. So the biggest thing that I decided to do was to make sure that we were going to work as a team, and I mean that's what we've been doing since day one, and that's why we're still alive today.
And that's great. And I first heard of Lucha Maniacs and going back to the social media through Facebook, since I follow a lot of the wrestlers from the Texas scene, and they share the flyers when the wrestle. Excuse me, when Lucha Maniacs just started. As you mentioned, you guys started on a Facebook stream, and unfortunately, due to COVID-19, the first shows were without fans. So. How was it starting off shows without fans and then doing monthly like episodes on social media?
Well, to be honest with you, bro, first it was tough, especially without fans. It still wasn't easy, especially because at that time I didn't have the team that I have today. So basically all it was me, it was my girlfriend who was now my wife at the time, a couple of other friends, and that was basically it. So I was up maybe until 3 4 in the morning trying to set up lights, trying to set up production, trying to sweep the ring. The thing with me is I'm a perfectionist, so I tend to really make sure that everything that I do is up to my par. So I tend to take a long time to make sure that everything looks good, that the quality looks good, that the product looks good. That was one thing that played a big role in the shows without people, and that did get a lot of people's attention because it was something different. I really invested a lot into the product as far as graphics, as far as lights, as far as videography, photography, and etc. So once we did start with people, luckily, Lucha Maniacs was already an established name, and we were fortunate enough to get a good crowd at our first show.
Yeah, I was seeing pictures when the first show first appeared with fans, and it was a packed house. I was like, this is pretty good for seeing the people knew already who Lucha Maniacs was and what caliber they bring. So, talking about the first show with fans, how did it feel seeing already the fans there? What emotions did you get? What was going on through that day?
It was crazy, bro. It wasn't real. I don't want to sound arrogant either. Like I said, I mean, I've been in the business already for 7 years, so I knew what I'm doing. I knew how to run things. But to be able to look back and say, "Wow, like look, this was something that I was able to create. Like this is my vision," and being able to take a step back and look at that was just surreal. Especially with the stacked cards, the locker room that we had that night, and the nights that we continue to have. We continue to provide pretty stacked cards. It's surreal to me to be able to still be able to take credit for it and to be able to say, like, you know what, like this is mine.
Okay, so and yeah, I mean, it would have been great if I would have gone over there to that first show of Cross, but I was working at the time. But it's always good seeing just people in Laredo going out supporting their local promotions, and it's great. So as mentioned, Lucha Maniacs is a huge part of the Texas scene, especially the Lucha scene, not just in Laredo but in South Texas. So can you tell us how you help these wrestlers from South Texas and the areas around?
For sure, most definitely. I tried to focus a lot on my local guys. I really wanted to build them up, and I really wanted not only my company, but I wanted them to be able to make a name for themselves. So like I said, I mean, I got them together. I told them my vision, and luckily they believed in me. And to this day, they still believe in me. Um, But I mean, I'm not gonna take credit for them either. They train every day. They put in their hard work. They bust their butt in the gym. And then with dieting. Um, but I'm glad to say that I was able to help a lot of guys. Raxel's one of them. I'm not sure if you heard of him.
Hmm.
ASF, the Lucha Heroes, Brillante, um, and the names just keep going from there. But yeah, no, I basically looked for a lot of the underdogs, a lot of the guys that I thought had a lot more potential, but maybe just weren't given that opportunity quite yet.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of great guys coming out from Lucha Maniacs. You mentioned the Lucha Heroes, Brillante, ASF, our Wrestlevlogs champion, Príncipe Celestial.
There you go.
Uh, yeah, Jonathan Lopez, Cuervo, and it's guys that I've seen for a while, but I'm glad that they're getting that spotlight here with Lucha Maniacs, and more people are becoming fans of them.
Of course, and it's an awesome feeling to be able to say, you know what, I helped this individual get to where he is. And like I said, I'm not taking credit for none of that. But just I really like helping people. So me being able to help someone and me genuinely being happy that they are where they are, to me that's everything. That's the ultimate satisfaction. To know that my guys are doing good because that's something that I was able to like instill in them is an amazing feeling. Just recently, for example, we sent Juventud Aérea to Gali Lucha Libre in Chicago, so that was really neat.
And yeah, the other day I was talking to Juventura area. We were talking about the time he went to Chicago, and he said it was pretty nice. It was a pretty cool experience, just showing his talent out there to the people in Chicago.
Yeah, for sure, definitely.
Okay, so sticking with the talent from South Texas, more specifically in Laredo, Laredo has had a lot of great talents coming out from there, from the likes of Laredo Kid, Roxy, and now out there ASF. So anyone in Laredo who you think should get their name out there and get more people to book out there.
For sure. One individual that I can tell you right off the back of my head who is extremely deserving of every opportunity that comes his way. He is always the first one at the venue, the last one at the venue. He's always giving it his 110%. And that would be Cuervo. When I first met Cuervo, he was very shy. I'm probably breaking a lot of rules here by saying this, but he was very shy, bro. He was very quiet. And luckily, I was able to talk with him as a person. I was able to work with him, do business with him, and I'd like to say now, Cuervo's exploded, and Cuervo's, he's a beast, he's a monster. Just recently, he wrestled Mecha with 450. He's wrestled Chica Tormenta. He's wrestled Ares, who's in AAA right now. So he's tearing it up.
And yeah, I'll be honest with you. I was one of the first people who saw Cuervo's first match down here in the valley, and I've seen him improve a lot. Yeah, so it's and I would agree with you. Cuervo would be one of the guys that more people in the Texas scene should keep an eye out and get him out there.
Yeah, he's actually making his Martinez Entertainment debut tonight. So that's something pretty cool.
Okay, so going back with Lucha Maniacs, so unfortunately the COVID-19 pandemic is still going on. It's not over, unfortunately, but how was Lucha Maniacs unit to stay strong during these times?
Lucha Maniacs, like I said, is I mean, I can't take the full credit for myself. We're a team. We all work together. Social media helps us out a lot as far as looking for sponsors and really making sure that we're on the same page. As far as the business point, as far as everything in the locker room, as far as just making sure that we're all on the same page. But I mean, yeah, it's been tough with COVID. But luckily, we've been able to keep going strong, and that's the goal, to continue going strong.
And yeah, I hope to see more from that from Lucha Maniacs, and as well check out more in depth for Lucha Maniacs. So speaking of Lucha Maniacs shows, let's talk about the first anniversary show. If I'm not wrong, it's Lucha Locura, if I'm correct with the name.
Yeah, that's correct. Lucha Locura. It's September the 19th. Just now, we actually finalized the venue for the place. It's actually going to be held at the Blackout Training Center, which is 9009 San Dario Avenue here in Laredo, Texas. We're bringing down some really awesome names, which is LA Park, LA Park Sons. You have Super Crazy, Gringo Loco, Damian 666, Bestia 666, Mecha Wolf, Silver Tiger, El Aro de Juarez, El Cuervo de Puerto Rico, and I can just keep going on and on and on. But I'm not going to spoil the surprise yet.
Man, that already sounds stacked, especially with my best friend Bestia say he doesn't chop me and shit.
Yeah, I remember seeing that. Yeah, that was something.
Let's start closing it off. So, any advice you want to give out to the people out there in the wrestling business, whether it be to wrestling, refereeing, managing, even a promoter, any advice you want to give out to the people out there?
Personally, I would just say give it your all. I mean, don't give up. I can I can get a little personal here. Unfortunately, my family and a lot of my friends at that point did not believe in me. Um, they didn't see the value. They didn't see the point. They didn't see the reason behind me spending so many hours stressing out, busting my butt for something to them which was just considered a hobby. Because of um, Lucha Maniacs, I've sacrificed a lot. I dropped out of college to be able to dedicate everything to this. I got kicked out of my parents' house. Um, just recently, a lot of people don't know, I actually just lost my job 2 days ago. That's because of COVID, right? That's some other reasons. But this wouldn't be possible if it wasn't for a team. I really enforce that we're all a family. We all work as a team. That nobody's ego is above anybody else's. Just like I help them, now they're helping me, and I appreciate that. And I'm blessed to have such an amazing, hardworking team, and I'm also blessed to have such an amazing partner who is now my wife, who's always by my side, who's always very supportive. But if I can give any kind of advice, my advice to anyone would be just whatever it is, just don't give up. And if you're gonna do something, then do it with your all, or don't do it at all. Go big or go home. If this is what you want, then I mean, make it your dream, make it your passion, make it your everything. Make it your priority. Um, and yeah, man, that's about it.
All right. So, anywhere the fans could follow you, Lucha Maniacs on social media.
Of course, we're on Facebook, Lucha Maniacs. We're on Instagram. You can literally just type Lucha Maniacs. We're the first ones to come up. We're on Twitter. I'm really bad with Twitter, but I'm working to get it going again. We're on YouTube. We're also on Mas Lucha, which is huge all over Mexico. We're on Title Match Network. So we're getting our name out there. And me personally, you can always find me on Facebook under Ishaan Idnani-Ramos. I'm always there.
All right. As well, are the first shows there for Facebook from Lucha Maniacs, so the fans could check them out?
Yes, all the shows are on there for free. All you have to do is, like I said, go to our Facebook page, Lucha Maniacs, go through our videos, and you can find about 6 months worth of content for free. And I'm talking guys like Psycho Clown, Lowrider, Bestia, Damian, El Hijo de Fishman, Black Taurus, Laredo Kid. Some really, really interesting and amazing matches are up there. Some really nice matches with ASF. A lot of people don't know that he's worked some of the guys he's worked at our show. For example, his singles match with Black Taurus is up there. That was a hell of a match. His match with Aramis and Raxo was up there. So there's some really awesome content on there.
Awesome. All right. So the fans could go check them out and check out what Lucha Maniacs is all about. And as well, go check out Lucha Locura September 19th at the Blackout Training Center in Laredo, Texas. You don't mind me giving the address again because I'm bad at
Got it
remembering
up.
stuff.
It's gonna be Sunday, September the 19th. Lucha Maniacs presents Lucha Locura at the Blackout Training Center, 9009 San Dario Avenue, here in Laredo, Texas. We're gonna tear the house down. If you've never been to one of our shows, now's your opportunity to come and see us do it big, because we're bringing the biggest of the big in Lucha Libre, which is LA Park, a good friend of mine. So we're real excited.
Indeed. And Wrestlevlogs will be there to check it out and see what Lucha Maniacs is all about.
Awesome.
Alrighty, Sean. Thank you for your time and thank you for being here at Wrestlevlogs. And we hope to see you soon.
Of course, thank you for your time and thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure.